You're listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast, the show that helps you build wealth faster, think outside the box, and break out of the herd. Here's your host, Jim Oliver. Welcome back, Breakaway Wealth. I'm your host, Jim Oliver, and with me today, Singh. Welcome, Singh.
Thank you for having me, Jim. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Before we get started, tell everybody just a little bit about you, how you got to where you're at.
So I run two uh, organizations. One is Singh Leadership, where we help individuals identify their true purpose in life through our Inner Compass Journey program, both for individuals and leaders. And on the other side, we help small, mid-sized businesses to streamline their processes and really take advantage of the data in today's world.
Love it. I love that. So let's talk about leadership, because one of the things you just said there is we help people. See, when you're developing leaders, one thing I've noticed lately, it seems like lately it's just come into my purview, and it seems like I have people in my life that have been struggling with this, but they struggle with a vision, right? And a leader has to have a vision, right? The leader needs to be a visionary. So talk to me about, what do you do when somebody says, saying, I just can't find my vision right now?
That's an awesome question because that's what we help people find. What we carve out is called purpose. So the framework that I use is progress, PROGRESS, right? So progress stands for purpose, reflection, organizing, and then grit, resilience, empowerment, self-improvement, and support. So from grit to support is the activity that you do to get to some place, and where you go is your PRO, purpose, reflection, and organizing. So we have an awesome test assessment now, purpose factor assessment. Uh, 25 minutes, it identifies four critical archetypes for any individual. Your natural advantage, something that you are born with, your acquired skills, things that you learn and through education and experience. Then you have pull passion, something that you gravitate to solve, and your origin strength, which is your default mechanism that you have built over the years to respond to a bad situation, right? So the reason this assessment is different because it not only identifies the archetypes of what you do, it identifies things that frustrates you and fulfills you.
Mm.
It identifies your blind spot. It identifies how you want to lead others and how you want to be led by others. So all those things for four of them, and then we get into the organizing mode, right? That's where reflection is very important in life, to understand where you are and where you want to go. All I say to leaders is every human being today on this planet have two options. One, you love what you do and you want to excel in that, right? And two, you don't know where you want to go, or you don't like what you do and you have to pivot to do something else, right?
Yeah.
That's where purpose and reflection is very important. The third comes, I'll just complete that one. The third comes organizing. There are two parts to organizing. Through reflection, you're building the emotional organization. But then we have a compass program where we help every individual identify 7 relationships, both in personal and professional life, that every human needs to have to be successful. And then you have grit to support to figure out how you get there.
I love that. One of the things that you can't do as a leader, and I own a few companies and have a lot of people that I work with, is somebody that works for you or with you can't really ask you the tough questions or do the kind of evaluation of where you need to improve or what really areas you need to focus on, and not stop doing the things that you're not supposed to be doing. Is they'll always tell you kind of what you want to hear. Now, there's an exception to that, but when you have somebody like you who's worked with leaders and has developed leaders, you can ask those tough questions because it's a different relationship. Talk about that.
That's very powerful. So the compass that I mentioned, that's 7 relationships, right? So the 7 relationships are clarity partners, right? It's your people who can bring clarity in your life. If they're not in your life, then you're sitting in your echo chamber. right? Then you have people, mentors are there, pillars are there, right? Opportunity advocates, people who can speak behind, even if you're not there, they are finding opportunities for you and recommending your name, right? M is mentor, P is pillars, people who stand there. Now, you can identify all these different relationship, but the critical thing is two things. One, once you have identified those people who are playing that role, can you have a candid accountability conversation with them, right? The point is not that you need to build emotional relationship. The point is that can you create boundaries for yourself and let somebody else play that role for you,
Yeah.
right?
It's funny because when I have a conversation with somebody on my team and I say, hey, I'm not happy with the way this is going, like something like a project or something, right?
Mhm.
And and they say, no, it's fine, it's good, everything's good. Yeah, we're making progress. It's fine. And I said, no, I just told you I wasn't happy with it.
Mhm.
Is like, don't tell me everything's fine. I'm okay with there being something wrong. I didn't say I was going to fire you. Didn't say I was
Right.
going in a different direction. I'm just not getting the result in this area that I want to get. And you know, I've given up all hope that I can have those conversations with people that haven't gone through some kind of training
Mhm.
that, because you have to tell people what you expect, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes as leaders and visionaries, we just expect people to know what we want. And so talk about like how that leadership training makes the leader more effective with their team. And then I want to go back to something you said about somebody who's not really happy about what they're doing. They're trying to find their purpose, and somebody who loves what they're doing. So don't let me forget to go back to that. But
Okay.
go the first question first.
So the first question here is, so for 4 decades I've been practicing mindful practices, right? I was trained when I was 14 years old by a lama, and that's a whole different experience that I had there at that age. um, because of the woo woo with that word mindful, I did not use that word till 2023 when I left corporate life and started training. When I reflected back, and one simple practice that you, your team, and anybody listening to this can start tomorrow without calling it mindful. When you have a conversation, no matter who it is, right? Any conversation that you have, individually and collectively, ask three simple questions, right? What is that you want out of this conversation? What is that you want out of this meeting? Or I have helped high school kids get off of their screen by this same exercise. When you get on and start your Instagram, the first question I want you to ask is what I am getting out of this. If you're getting an experience, fine. If not, stop, right? If you can define collectively and individually, that's first question. Second question, if you were not here, what else you would be doing that would fulfill you, right?
I love the first two questions on somebody just requesting a meeting with me,
Right.
because I if somebody puts 20 minutes on my calendar or 30 minutes on my calendar, I get frustrated because I don't know what you want to talk about. And so
Right.
I don't know how to be prepared for that meeting. And so we're going to spend 10 minutes of the meeting, you just kind of warming up the meeting. And
Right.
there's a lot of times where I'm not trying to be rude. Just tell me what you want to meet about.
Exactly. So you are an eagle. You are an eagle, right? You want to connect right then. If 2 minutes is not connected, then you're all over, right? So here is the third question that you want to
Yeah.
ask people, right? If you were not in this conversation, who else would do this better than you,
Yeah. I like that.
right? The moment you put those three questions on the table, it should take less than 30 seconds
Yeah.
to have that conversation. The moment you have, what did you do? You forced people to come out of their autopilot and engage their prefrontal cortex, which is a logical brain,
Love it.
right? The moment you do that, you did prioritize and assess the right people doing the right work in your team.
I love that. So okay, so let's go back to what
Go
I
back,
said
yeah.
is
Mhm.
there there's a lot of people out there. I mean, a
Mhm.
lot of people, and you need help. I mean, you need help figuring out what you want. You could spend years doing it,
Mhm.
and then you'll figure it out sooner or later. I mean, we all do, right? But if you have help that really takes you through a process,
Right.
and will make you reflect. And then because like I'll give you an example. I have this friend in my life, and she's almost 30. She works at a logistics company and she hates it. Right?
Right. Hmm. Hmm.
She's like, I'm gonna put in a year though. I'm going to, do this. And you've heard all of these things before, right?
100%.
And I say to her, now this is a 60-year-old perspective versus a 29-year-old perspective. Why would you waste a year? If you know
So
it's not right, move on.
what
And she said,
amazes me,
yeah, go
what
ahead.
amazes me there, Jim, is that when we get under the hood and start having this conversation, 60% of people I have conversation who think they are enjoying what they're doing, they don't have any fulfillment in their life,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So that's where the purpose becomes important. What is the best of what you have to give others?
yeah,
That's what we help you identify through this exercise, through that
yeah.
assessment, right?
No, and I love that because here's the thing: is when I said to her, you have a marketing degree, you're really good at marketing. Plus, you're 29, you really get online stuff. I think you could make so much more money, have so much more freedom, helping people with their online marketing, which people are desperate for. And she says, "Well, I don't really, have a track record." Okay, then do it based on profits. Do it based on, like make
Mhm.
them an offer, like Hermosi would say, that they would feel stupid to say no.
No, yeah,
And
exactly.
but you start somewhere. Just keep your
Mhm.
job, do this for a few hours a week, and like develop it. And I think I've got her convinced to start down this path. But it's that she would need a coach. She would need somebody to help her develop that leadership and say, no, okay, you're making the wrong turn there. Okay, you're
Mhm.
thinking about that wrong. Or just keeping her mindset straight.
Right.
One of the things that I tell people about working out, and I work out, almost every day, and I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and people say, "Well, I mean, why do you have a trainer?" Well, because the trainer and she has me do exercises I wouldn't do on my own,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
And it's also accountability. But
Exactly.
when I decided and came up with this plan, saying, you know what I did is I got a picture of me with my shirt off, just in shorts. I took it through AI and I said, make my arms bigger, make my shoulders bigger, make my waist leaner, give me better abs, legs. And then it did. And I said, okay,
Mhm.
that's my vision. Right. So I used a process
Right.
to get the vision. Now I have the vision, and I know what I want to look like. But if I didn't know what I want to look like, and I say, well, I just want to lose 10 pounds of fat, gain 10 pounds of muscle, like I can't
A, B,
see it.
C, D, E. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
And so you
So
talked about oh, go ahead.
no, no,
Go
no. Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Finish the question.
Well, you talked about mindfulness, and like sometimes to me, when people say like you said, mindfulness means a lot of different things to people. But like here's a simple exercise that I do is I just sit there for 30 minutes. I don't say a word. I don't listen to anything. I don't read anything. Just sit there and think for 30 minutes. Now, you think that sounds so simple and easy, but your mind is in such a better place at the end of that. And there's probably 5 minutes where you're going to have some brilliance in there.
Hmm. Hmm. So when we talk about mindful leadership and
Yeah.
mindfulness, we are not talking about twisting your body in 200 different ways. We are not asking you to go to a mountain and sit there for the weekend. No,
Yeah.
it's simple 4 deep breath that can engage your prefrontal cortex, right? Mindful leadership means that every conversation that you are having, there is an intention in that conversation. Every action that you are taking is attached to a value that you have. The disturbing research that we have seen is, and this is across the globe, 10,000 companies, 90% of leaders, people managers, when they come in the meeting, the first 5 minutes they are not there.
Yeah.
They are
Wow.
still replaying something else. Think about the productivity and connection. If
Yeah.
any conversation, like you said, somebody gets on the calendar the first 10 minutes they're warming up, you already lost you, right?
Yeah.
They already lost you because you did not catch up with that. And that's where we have created 260 different mindful micro practices. And the reason I had to do that is, unfortunately, with the digital expansion, average human focus has gone down to 12 seconds.
Mm.
So we created micro practices for every emotion, everything. Actually, we have a free GPT that you can start playing with, and it's a conversational and helps you expand your emotional vocabulary.
Wow.
I was talking to somebody, coaching somebody yesterday, and she started with, "Oh, I'm very frustrated." I said, "Okay, let's talk about it." Uh, she is in that place where she's not happy with what she wants to do. She now has figured out in 4 weeks where she wants to go, but her frustration was that I don't know. I said, "Okay, let's step back. What you just said. You're not frustrated. It's a fear. It's a fear of unknown, right? Fear of unknown should not be same as frustration." So
Yeah.
people start talking, even your friend, tell her the same thing. Don't generalize your emotions. Try to expand the vocabulary. And it all starts with 4 deep breath,
I love that. I love
right?
that.
A tool that every listener can use, STOP, stop. We walk, we drive, we go, there's always a stop sign somewhere. Or you stop your work at some point. Just do STOP. S stands for literally stopping in your thoughts. Track your body sensations on where you feel what, tense muscles, any irritation. It just feel that. Observe how that, what manifested in your body as experience, how that is connected to your thought that's there, right? And put a name to
Yeah.
it. This is so critical and so easy, so simple. Anything that you can identify and name, your brain then accepts that as not a danger.
Right.
So next time you have that thought, next time you have that emotion, you are not activating your fight and flight.
Yeah. So, okay, I love what you just said there. It's funny if you looked at my calendar, it says, 4:30 wake up. That's when my alarm goes off. And the first thing I do before I get out of bed is I take 4 deep breaths. I get up, go to the bathroom, I drink 20 ounces of water. And people say, "How do you get up at 4:30?" That's how you get up at 4:30. It's pretty easy. And it's
I,
it's
I've
the
been
water
I've
and the breaths. It's
I've been
like,
doing that for I've been doing that for 40 years now, right?
and it wakes up your brain, it wakes up your body. I never think, "Oh my gosh, I want to hit this." I've never hit the snooze button in my life, not once. And I don't even have it snooze. I hate that. If I say, "Hey Siri, set an alarm for 4:15 tomorrow morning," it automatically sets a snooze. And I'm like, why would it do that?
Just
Make
right.
somebody put snooze on there. Okay, so you went back to the 12 seconds in the so everything in the world in the universe is energy, right?
Yes.
So thoughts are energy, and you're saying, like, in what I've heard, and you probably heard this too, and you probably know the origin. I don't, but it takes 12 seconds, 17 seconds. It takes a few seconds for energy to attract like energy, right?
Yes.
So if you have a negative thought, you're going to attract another one
Yes.
in a few seconds.
Few
And
seconds.
then
Yep.
in like 4 consecutive negative thoughts, you have momentum. So now you're going
Going.
negative,
Yep.
right?
100%.
And I think, talk about how you would work with somebody, because here's what happens. Even somebody who loves what they do. So we took somebody who doesn't really love what they do.
Hmm.
Somebody loves what they do. They know what they want to do, but they don't know how to get to the level that they want to get to, right? Because they have these obstacles, whether it's in their belief, their fear,
Hmm.
all of that, and and they don't realize that that fear is energy that creates more fear, right? And more fear and more fear. And
Yes.
somebody that can come in and break that down, why you're feeling that. Now, then you can explain it. You could debate it like you're in court because it's a false belief. So, talk about how you work with people like that.
So two-part answer.
Okay,
First part answer is, when I talked about purpose, what is the best you have to give others? On the other side, you have fulfillment, and you get fulfillment by three things. One is gratitude. People thank you that you help them.
absolutely. Amen.
Second is grace. You see people growing because you help them. And third is your own financial growth, right?
Yeah,
Now, if any of these things are not happening with you, that's where burnout happens. So you might be putting 100%, you might be liking 100%, you might be getting all your goals, everything, but you're lacking fulfillment in your life,
Yeah.
right? So to your point, the reason negative thought attracts negative thought and then it goes on is because brain is the laziest thing in our body, right? And it loves to turn on autopilot. It loves to turn on amygdala. What people don't realize is when your amygdala is triggered, it's fight and flight response. So when think about it, when you have a fire or some kind of problem, you contain all the resources, you stop consuming resources, right? That's what your brain is doing. Your brain is stopping your body from consuming resources. Guess what? You will get fatigued, you will not be there, you will get breathless, you will get anxiety. All those problems is there because you are triggering your amygdala 24/7.
Yeah.
And that's where having that 4 deep breath, just start there. Don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Just start with 4 deep breath and see
Yeah.
the magic. Because you the moment you break that autopilot, right? You will never have a negative thought. You will always have a justification. You will always have the debating within yourself because you activated your prefrontal cortex. And I challenge anyone, they can get on my call, right? And give me right 4 box breathing.
Yeah. I love that.
End
It's
of
right
that
in my
fourth,
calendar. I'm telling you.
right? End
Yeah.
of that fourth box breathing,
Yeah.
you will be a different person.
I 100% agree with you. I've not been doing that for 40 years, but I will tell you that it works. And all right, so let's go back to two things you just said because I think this is really important. Is gratitude and grace, right?
Right. Right.
And I want you to we'll kind of wrap up with this because I want everybody, and then I want you to tell everybody how to find you, how to learn more about what you do, and see if this is a right fit for you in the audience. Because you got to find somebody, and everybody. Singh has a different approach to this than I've seen, and I've interviewed a lot of coaches, and I've a lot of leadership, not a lot of leadership people, but he has a system that obviously has worked. And when you break out of corporate America, it's because, hey, I have something that I need to share. And I
Mhm.
and you can tell by his energy that he's not trying to sell you something, he's trying to help you. And yeah, he'll get financially rewarded for that, but you're going to get a 10x uh, ratio
Right.
or more. So gratitude, which I'm 100%. I've seen people turn their lives around just writing down things they're grateful for 90 days. I've seen it. And in grace. So one of the things that one of the guys that I've been mentoring for about 10 years, he doesn't have grace for himself. And therefore he wants to boil the ocean by 10 a.m. And then when it doesn't happen, then he's angry and he's
Cycle goes on.
tense
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and he's not serving as well as he could serve because he doesn't have that grace. Right. And and I try to tell them it's all about progress. We're like, I say, I'm like a barge. I don't go fast, but I go right,
Right.
and you're not stopping me. And so when you have grace and gratitude, and you let go and let it just happen, wealth flows to you,
Right.
right? I mean, the it flows to you, and you can call it the universe, you can call it God, whatever your belief
What?
system is, right?
Right. Hmm.
But talk about that, like why people just won't. Is it fear that they won't let go and just do that and
See,
see it come to them?
what has happened is, unfortunately, we live in a life of instant gratification, right? What people forget is the biggest gratification you can get is to just realize that you're alive.
Yeah,
We take our breath just for granted, but that is the only sign, other than being in coma, that you're alive,
right.
right? Let's start gratitude with you having that breath. Have you
Mm.
ever seen? So these are the things I challenge with people, right? Have you ever seen a bird drop dead from a tree, right? Why do you think you will drop dead?
Yeah, right.
So everything that we have created a very scientific approach, right? So 6S, it's where I started in 2018, before COVID, and it helped a lot of people during COVID. right? So it is sacred society, which is you, your compass, the seven relationship that I said. Those are sacred relationships because you have to put people, help them understand how they can hold you accountable in those relationships without baggage. So it's a sacred society for secret search because you have to go inside, right? For
Yep.
scientific spirituality,
Yeah.
right? That's where
Yeah.
we have created tons of frameworks for every different people from different field, different experience to just come in. Like purpose factor assessment, you go search online, it's anywhere between 30 and $60, right? Just the
Yeah.
assessment. I give it free to people
Yeah.
because I know once you get that assessment results, the value that you will see in that, that you will come back saying, how do I use it now?
No, I'm going to do it. I want to, because I'm always trying to get better, right?
Yeah,
I
I'm,
love
I'm
what
going to
I
send you a
do.
link.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah,
to send
I would
you a
love
link.
to. I would love to have it because and we'll put it in the show notes.
Absolutely.
And so, all right. So I had one more question before I was going to ask you my two questions. I love what you said about the breath. I mean, it's just, it's just, I love when things are validated, like, cause like I don't know why it works. I just know it works. Right. So, and I'm kind of that my personality is I don't need the details, but I just need to know, okay, that works. But it's kind of like when you, um, when you get your brain right and you get your mindfulness right, you get your thoughts right,
Mhm.
you like it. We'll take like weight loss. If you think that you're going to be fat forever, you're going to be fat forever. And when you let your brain and your body say, I'm okay being smaller, losing weight, I'm okay gaining muscle, you're everything will align. And I just think that's so amazing that that's how our lives work. Is all we have to do is think about it. Now in golf, okay, you said something. I'm going to try this today later when I play golf. Is the four breaths, right? Because in golf, if if you have a bad shot, what Tiger Woods was so good at is forgetting about that bad shot, thinking about the next good shot, and he would visualize the perfect shot. And so
Right,
most of us go, oh, and they're mad that they had a bad putt 3 holes ago, right? And
right.
it's like the same thing in life is, oh, I'm mad that I worked at that company and I gave them too many years, and and I made this mistake on this investment, or I shouldn't have bought this real estate, or 2008 I lost money. All of these things we're living in the past, which I've given up all hope of a better past. So
Hmm.
we have to focus on the present and how we prepare ourselves and provide value. So talk about that real quick and then we'll wrap up.
So like I said, I always talk about frameworks, right? Something that, so here is another problem with human beings. Everybody likes to think that they are linear thinker,
Yeah.
right? That
Right.
they need A, B, C, D. That's why we created the frameworks for people to engage. The reality is that we live our life in four dimension, right? So the moment you put that presence in front of you, you engage all four dimensions of life and you enjoy. You have that right shot with
Yeah.
that four breath. What you're doing with that four breath is you are engaging your prefrontal cortex, which is getting all the message from all your senses and brings you in four dimension where you have to take action. One of the frameworks is peptide. It starts with power and energy in every action you take. You mentioned something very critical. You have mentioned this a few times. You wake up at 4:30 because you know you're passionate about something and that energy is flowing with you for 60 years now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what is that makes you fulfill? What is that? So the reflection also is, once we have this assessment, I ask people to start writing down on a daily basis, what did you do that frustrated you? What did you do that fulfilled you? And how can you organize your life to minimize the things that frustrates you? Either you hire someone, give on to someone, go somewhere else, and increase doing things that fulfills you. You will not change the world in one day. To your point, take that one stop. take that one stop pause, take that one small action, no matter how small it is, with intention.
I love it. I love it. All right, Singh, what's the best advice anybody's ever given you?
Like you, I love to learn a lot, and this is almost 25, 26 years back. Somebody's told me, slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
I love that. I love that.
Right? So,
Smooth.
in whether it is leadership, whether it is your personal life, a deliberate pause,
Yeah.
right, can get you much farther because you have that clarity in the mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That beats any speed you want to go with.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. It's what comes to my mind is sometimes leaders, we take things personally, and when you sit and you wait and you respond and you have grace and gratitude, and then you respond, your response is always so different. Okay,
Right.
last question. If God came down from heaven and allowed you to only retain the knowledge that you've received from
Mhm.
one book, what would that book be?
Oh, hands down, the one thing,
Yeah,
right? Because
love
the
it.
key,
Gary
the
Keller.
core premise, that's exactly what we're talking about, right? The whole episode. What is one thing, just one thing that I can do
Yeah,
that makes everything else unnecessary,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
clarity.
Yeah. And again, like people get hung up and they hear the noise of, like whether it's unique ability or what would you say, they think, well, I don't have any unique abilities. I don't have any, like that's the noise that they've heard, and they start to believe it. Right. Again, I'll go back to golf. Don't hit it in the water. Guess where that ball's going? In the
It's going in the
water.
water.
Right. When I say, hey, I'm going to hit it down the left side of the fairway because then I'm going to have the shortest path to the pin, then guess where I'm going to hit the ball? Down the left side of the fairway.
Right.
And if I miss it 10 yards right, who gives a crap? Right.
Right.
So, all right. How do people get a hold of you, Singh, and take this assessment and see if this is a good fit and kind of explore the process?
So, two ways that people can get to me. One is my website, singhleadership.com. Always accessible. Go on there and book time with me. The other way to get hold of me very quickly is LinkedIn. I'm very active on
Okay.
LinkedIn because I've had support groups and stuff like that in there. So
Perfect.
those are the two easy ways. And when we launch this thing, whenever you're ready to get the show, today sometime I'll send you the link for you to take personally, and also
Yeah.
encourage your team to take it.
I'm gonna do it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Singh, thank you so much for being on the show, audience. These are the kinds of things that are the difference between people that have what they want in life and people that don't have what they want in life. Is programs and help, and you got to get help with whatever you're trying to do. You can't run a company by yourself. You can't be a leader by yourself. You got to get help, and people that have a different perspective than yours, different strengths than yours, helps, and systems, proven systems. So, Singh, thank you so much for sharing. Audience, we're going to wrap this up like we always do with the incredible words of Earl Nightingale and the strangest secret. Take it away, Earl.
Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about.
Thanks for listening to the Breakaway Wealth podcast. Be sure to subscribe to this show wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. If you want to start increasing your wealth building ability right now, go to community.createtailwind.com to join our free online community and get access to free, in-depth training designed to help you build real, lasting wealth. See you next week.